They stung me so much I decided to take my shirt off because there's no other way.
Hayi man quest manje masike izinto yenzayo ifoni ibambe ngomzimba ezinyosini mfondini. Ziluma kangaka izinto bro zinyosi.
Well, we need the honey as a third ingredient in our mixture, so we have no other option but to harvest the honey and forgo the stings. But before all that, me being here now, I had left PE with a solution for a problem that I had. Well, the problem involves that the freezer is not full, and secondly, if we're gonna be pumping money into sheep, might as well harvest some of them for us to eat, because the mats wouldn't add up if you're gonna buy lucerne. It doesn't make sense to buy lucerne and then also have to buy meat, so rather cow the ones that you see that are very old. But as soon as I solve the meat problem, there's a secondary guest that requires respect, an uninvited guest wanting to stay with us. Imagine hanging around with these things in the yard. When you open the burglar too hard, they on you. I had to make it. Speaking of plans, I tried every plan that I had for my puppies, but one of them eventually wasn't able to make it. But at least two of them survived. And this is why we need honey, because it's the third ingredient. And just like that, I left the bay for home. But on my way, there's a video that is sent to me of an old man. And with that video gaslighting me to find my own bees for my own personal brew, but waking up, I find broken trees because of the wind last night, and we decided to chop it off because it's almost on. When it's like this, there's no other plan. I'd rather chop it off, but trying to chop a tree while on a ladder, that's not a very good combination. So we ditch the ladder and try and chop it while we're down, but once we get done with that, there's a sheep that's laying flat, and I'm like, my heart sinks. But only to my surprise, the sheep is alive, just sleeping. So this guy has just come here at my house and just told me that he has a beehive and we should go and try. But you can't trust someone who drinks, because you might find that they want money to drink, nothing else. So as soon as we arrive at his house, I start losing hope because he's making circles and his brother gives me prickly pear, but instead of taking me to the beehive. And I start losing hope. There's a saying that hope springs is eternal. So the only thing we would rely on is hope, because eventually it starts pointing, and I think if it's on a steep slope, then it's gonna be a problem. But might as well, we ask for it, then we're gonna have to come up with a plan or solution of how we tackle. And with any rushing towards bees, nothing well comes out of it. So you'd rather plan and prepare well. Get firewood that is known for smoking. And then we start making a fire, but far from the hole, so that the bees can fly out in and out without them burning their wings off, because we need them to go build another hive somewhere. We use the wood that has thick smoke coming out of it. But still, we haven't found the exact correct wood. There's a type of wood that burns thick smoke out of it, but we'll use what we have. It's general knowledge around the village that when you smoke the bees, they start thinking that everything around the hole is burning and they should start escaping the fire. Scariest part is starting to dig at a beehive. It's like knocking at someone's door expecting them to come out with a 12 gauge. It's not honey per se that we need, we just need the beehives. Because of the weather, we've noticed that they've started eating some of the honey, but there's still enough residue for us to use. So the real reason why these bees keep stinging me is not because they're aggressive, but me, when I bend my knee, they start stinging. Then and then I decide to take my shirt off. At this moment, you feel so much tension that someone who's standing very far from the hive giving out instruction to give them the ones that are not smoking anymore. It's easy to give instruction when you're far from the beehive, but if you're next to it and you have bees piling up on your behind, then the problems start. The only time I notice is when they start stinging me from behind as soon as I put pressure on top of them. Because every time I bend or move, some are already under the shirt, so whenever I move back, the shirt gets tied on top of them and they sting, so I decide to take the shirt off. As soon as I take my shirt off, they are free to move up and down my body and they don't do anything unless you put pressure on them. So as soon as I remove the pressure, I start feeling a difference because they don't sting anymore. They just move freely on top of my body up and down.
Ja, asijonga azikhupha hier zinifumana imilenze mkakhe.
Eventually we're able to carry out some of the honey that we got, even though there's a few stings that I got but nothing on the face, so we can be able to call it a successful harvest. No bees were burned and everything was done properly as we were taught.
So I was able to harvest the honey, but regardless of how much honey, or there's not much honey or there's no honey at all, as long as there's contents of what bees collect around.
Efonini litshone sendisondele mani kwelapha ilimdaka kodwa kwakusasa ndizihamba izwe endleleni.